मैंने तो मैसेज किया अभी। ठीक है, लाइक स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं अंजलि।
So, good evening and a very happy day, and I hope you all are doing fine. So, I, Anshli Rathi, on behalf of FFF, I welcome you all on our second panel discussion. And today we'll be discussing about the impact of coastal road on biodiversity and Koli community in particular. And I'm happy to bring our panelists in front of you. Today we'll be having Fernandez ma'am, and I welcome you all, and I welcome the other viewers and audience too. So before moving ahead, I just want you all to know what is this coastal road project, what we are going to talk about it. So basically the Mumbai coastal road is an under construction 8-lane that would run along Mumbai's western coastline, connecting lines in the south to Kandavali in the north. But all is not well with this project, and we will know about it in few moments from now. So next, I will introduce our panelists to all of you. First, we have with us Mr. Sanjay V. Baiko. He belongs to Koli community. He's a resident of Worli, Koliwada, and his fishing boat and business was damaged by the coastal road work. And तो उनसे हमें पता चलेगा कि क्या क्या impact हुआ है. So, sir, आपका स्वागत है. Next, we have Mr. Gaurav Patil. He is a marine biologist, nature photographer, and a visual artist. From last few years, he's working with different communities and trying to understand our coastal ecosystem in a better way. Welcome, Gaurav. Next, we have Sarita Fernandez, ma'am. She is a coastal policy researcher and marine wildlife conservative. She has been working on marine wildlife and coastal land use conservation. I welcome you, ma'am. So we'll start with our discussion. So the first question I have is to Mr. Sanjay Baikar, sir. सर, तो लाइक हमें पता चला है कि जिस ये प्रोजेक्ट जो हो रहा है कोस्टल रोड प्रोजेक्ट, उससे द लाइफ एंड लाइवलीहुड जो आपकी कम्युनिटी का है, बिजनेस और आपका लाइफ, उस दोनों पे बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पैक्ट हुआ है. तो आप हमें बता सकते हो कि ये जो कोस्टल रोड का जो कंस्ट्रक्शन हुआ है उसने आपकी कम्युनिटी पे कैसा असर किया है?
एकदम वैसा बोलेगा तो एकदम बुरी तरह एकदम असर हो चुका है, क्योंकि हम लोग का जो वाल्केश्वर से लेके वर्ली सीपेज तक जो भराव किया है, तो हमारा मेन जो जगह था मच्छी का, वो पूरा वो लोग ने भरनी कर दिया है और हम लोग को पूरा एकदम धंधे में एकदम. मेरा आवाज आ रहा है ना मैडम?
यस यस.
हाँ, तो उसके ऊपर क्या हो गया, वो लोगों ने भरनी जो किया है वाल्केश्वर से लेके वर्ली सीपेज तक, जो हमारा जो मच्छी का जो जगह था वो लोग ने पूरा भर के हमें पूरा एकदम क्या किया, उस लोग ने एकदम पूरा घर के अंदर बैठा ही दिया हम लोग को. जो मच्छी मिलने वाला था जो जगह पे, वो मच्छी अभी बिल्कुल मिल नहीं रहा है हम लोग को.
तो मतलब जब इन लोगों ने ये प्रोजेक्ट शुरू किया था बीएमसी एमडीसीएम, तो इन्होंने मतलब आपसे वो सोशल असेसमेंट का रिपोर्ट, एनओसी सर्टिफिकेट आपकी कम्युनिटी से लिया था क्या, या आपकी कम्युनिटी को पार्टिसिपेट किया था क्या?
नहीं मैडम, बिल्कुल पहली बात तो क्या है, वो लोग ने हम लोग से कोई डिसीजन लिया नहीं, क्योंकि कौन सा हमारे पास से प्रमाण पत्र भी नहीं लिया है. हम लोग को पहली बात तो हम लोग के साथ वो लोग एक भी मीटिंग नहीं किया है. ना हमसे कोई बात की गई, कुछ भी नहीं। वो लोग ने हमारे साथ ना बात किया, ना कोई इन्वेस्टिगेटर, ना कुछ। इतना जो भराव जो हुआ है उसके ऊपर कोई भी वो लोग हम लोग को पूछा तक नहीं, अभी तक नहीं पूछे।
तो मतलब इन लोगों ने जो ऑलरेडी वो रिक्लेमेशन ऑफ रोड स्टार्ट कर दिया है और वो आपकी जो ट्रेडिशनल ग्राउंड है फिशिंग वहां पे हो रहा है। तो जब ये हो रहा है तो मतलब आप एट प्रेजेंट आपकी कम्युनिटी का गुजारा कैसे हो रहा है?
अभी तो फिलहाल मैडम हम लोग तो कर्जा निकल के करके हम लोग को दूसरा मच्छी के अलावा दूसरा कुछ आता भी नहीं हम लोग को करने के लिए, क्योंकि हमारा पूर्वजों से लेके यही व्यवसाय रहा। हमारा यानी कि पूर्वजों से लेके हमारा वही व्यवसाय, मच्छी का ही व्यवसाय रहा है। और उसके ऊपर हम लोग को कोई दूसरा कुछ काम करने को भी नहीं हो रहा है, क्योंकि हमारा जो बचपन और जिंदगी हमारी उसके अंदर ही जा चुकी है।
अच्छा, तो मतलब करंटली जैसे ग्राउंड लेवल रिपोर्ट क्या है इस प्रोजेक्ट का? मतलब अभी भी काम चालू ही है उनका?
हाँ, वो लोगों ने जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट से वो लोगों ने सुप्रीम कोर्ट बोले काम रुकने के लिए, लेकिन ये लोग सुप्रीम कोर्ट का भी नहीं सुन रहे। ये लोग अपनी खुद की मनमानी कर रहे हैं, बाहर से गुंडे लोग मंगा रहे हैं। और बाहर से गुंडे लोगों को लेके हम लोग अगर कुछ बोलने को भी जा रहे हैं कि हम लोग रहेंगे किधर, हमारा बोट रहेगा किधर। जो एंकर भी था हमारा बोट का 56 एंकर था, वो लोग ने वो भी उसको भरनी के अंदर दफन कर दिया पूरा। और हम लोग को घर से बेघर कर दिया वो लोग ने। और ज्यादा से ज्यादा 75% से भी ज्यादा वो लोग ने भरनी कर चुके वो लोग। और हम लोग अभी जगह भी नहीं है, हमारा जो नुकसान हुआ उसके बारे में पूछने को भी नहीं है। और अभी जो हमारे नजदीक का जो बोट था उसका भी वो लोग ने भरनी करके रखा है, नहीं कि 64 पाक हो चुका है। यानी एंकर जो बोट खड़ा करता है ना, उसको मिनिमम 12 से 15 हजार तक खर्चा आ जाता है। इतना वो लोग ने हम लोग का 64 पागे हमारा इंजन एंकर का जो बोट खड़ा करता है वो फिक्स रहता है। वो हाजिरी से लेके हमारा लोटस तलक, जेडी तलक, वो जो एंकर था वो लोग ने पूरा दफन कर दिया।
तो मतलब उन लोगों ने ना ही आप लोगों का कोई पार्टिसिपेशन लिया है, ना ही आप लोगों को पूछा है, और जो भी नुकसान हो गया उसका भी पूछने वो लोग कोई नहीं आए हैं। एंड इतना कुछ होने के बाद भी उनका कंस्ट्रक्शन का वर्क चालू ही है।
हाँ, उनका कंटिन्यू चालू है, कंटिन्यू। लॉकडाउन में मुख्यमंत्री साहब बोले थे कि सब जन घर के अंदर रहो, लेकिन लॉकडाउन के अंदर जो लोगों ने भरनी की है वो देखने काबिल हो जाता है। क्योंकि क्या है, हम लोग को कोरोना होता है, लेकिन वो ट्रक वाला जो लोडिंग कर रहा है वो सब उधर में जो काम कर रहे हैं उनको कोरोना नहीं हो रहा था, हम लोग को ही कोरोना हो रहा था।
तो मतलब आपकी कम्युनिटी ने ट्राई किया था उनसे बात करने का, या मतलब कोई भी ऑफिशियल गवर्नमेंट से मतलब बताया था
हम
कि क्या
हम
इम्पैक्ट हो रहा है?
हम लोगों ने 18 से ज्यादा भी पत्र व्यवहार किए वो लोग उनके साथ। 18 से भी ज्यादा पत्र व्यवहार किए, सीएम से लेके हम लोग हर डिपार्टमेंट में, जो सागरी में है, बीएमसी में है, मेरी टाइम बोर्ड में है, ऐसे 18 से लेके ज्यादा से ज्यादा हो सके उतना हम लोगों ने पत्र व्यवहार भी किए। लेकिन उनका कोई हमारा सुनवाई नहीं की गई। ना हमारे पास कोई देखने के लिए, ना झांकने के लिए, ना कुछ पूछने के लिए कि आप लोग भूखे हो कि कैसे हो, कैसा आपका गुजारा चल रहा है, वो तक हम लोग उसने पूछा नहीं। जरूर जरूर मैडम, हम लोग जितनी मदद हो सके आप करेंगे। बहुत हाथ जोड़ के विनती है, क्योंकि हमारे पास हम अकेले नहीं है। 100 से भी ज्यादा खलासी पकड़ के जो मालिक लोग हैं बोट के और खलासी है, वो 100 से भी ज्यादा वो लोग काम कर रहे हैं। हम लोग उसके अंदर, और हमारे परिवार जो 600 से लेके ज्यादा, सिर्फ हम मछुआरों के लिए बात कर रहे हैं। जो औरत लोग जो हाँ, हाथ से मूला खोदती है, वो होता है ना, कालो फोड़ती है, खुबा पे लेते हैं, चिंबोरी जमा करते हैं, वो लोग भी औरत लोग 100 से ज्यादा है। और वो लोग की भी घर के अंदर 700 से 800 लोग घर में खाने वाले हैं। और उनके भी यानी कुल मिला के 1500 लोगों के ऊपर ये लोगों ने पैर दिया है।
नहीं सर, सही है। कोहली कम्युनिटी और आपका जो भी कम्युनिटी है वो हम लोगों के लिए बहुत मायने है, बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है। एंड हम लोग आपको श्योर करते हैं कि विल टेक जो भी एक्यूरेट स्टेप्स है, जितना हम लोग कर सकते हैं वो पक्का करेंगे सर। अभी और डिस्कशन करेंगे हमारे दोनों पैनलिस्ट से, उनसे भी पता करेंगे कि हम क्या कर सकते हैं, एंड वी विल डेफिनेटली हेल्प सर। आपने
जरूर जरूर
बताया,
मैडम जी।
आपका पार्ट बहुत अच्छा लगा। हमको पता चला एक्चुअल क्या क्या हो रहा है आप लोगों के साथ, एंड ये हम लोग फॉरवर्ड करेंगे। कुछ कितना कुछ इम्पैक्ट इस कोस्टल रोड प्रोजेक्ट ने उनकी कम्युनिटी पे किया है। एंड सो नाउ नेक्स्ट मूविंग फॉरवर्ड, आई वांट टू आस्क सरिता मैम। उन्होंने लाइक कोहली कम्युनिटी के साथ शी हैज वर्क क्लोजली विद दैट। तो मैम, कैन यू जस्ट एड ऑन फ्यू पॉइंट्स?
I agree. Firstly, I 5 minutes a little later on the call, but everything that Sanjay ji mentioned. Only for the Coastal Road project, we were looking at two stakeholders. We were looking at we were looking at fish, we were looking at wildlife. So with regard to fisher folk, regard to the Worli specifically, they were petitioners in the High Court. They had their own PIL and in the EIA, which is the Environment Assessment for any project, they were really missed out. There was no mention of fishers, there was no mention of livelihoods, nothing, forget about bio and everything else. So during the lockdown, and just to give you a little backstory to this, the case in the Bombay High Court for scrapping the environment clearance that allowed the coastal road project to go ahead was placed as of last year, and the Bombay High Court did give a judgment in favor for the fishers, for the environment, and so the work was halted as of 2019 May. But it was started again in December when the Supreme Court, stayed the judgment of the High Court and allowed the construction of the coastal road project. And consecutively, fishers like the Koliwada from Mr. Sanjay's fishing village, the Worli fishing village, the whole Kohli community, the big society which is in Sassoon and which is in South Bombay and stuff, they all went back to court, and the Supreme Court did say that, yes, you cannot reclaim so much. You can only reclaim enough that allows you for monsoon work and stuff like that. But then the lockdown happened, which is where we came into play for this. And during the lockdown, we found that they were reclaiming a lot. So Worli went into a red zone, and fishers were not even allowed to go to their boats to switch off the engine permanently, or to even bring their boats from the water to the dock area, to the dry area. It was that much of a curfew on them. But 5 meters, 10 meters away from their village, you could see the coastal road construction going on in full swing during the lockdown. And we have documented GPS footage that the work was happening when there was strict lockdown. And so that was one thing. And but a lot of people don't really know about the backstory of this, which is in any environment clearance or in any table when this project was put up, when it was being spoken and debated that it needs to go ahead, right from 2014 till now, economical biodiversity that the fishers catch, like your oysters and your crabs and your shells, which are consumable items in Bombay, which Bombay consumes, the urban class consumes all these things. So there was no mention even of that. So consecutively, as the fishers are getting more aggressive, a lot of like researchers started coming into this to find out what it was, which is where in 2018 Gaurav came in, and he used to do something called as show walks, where he used to document the biodiversity on these intertidal shows. And there, that's when we connected in a mutual this thing. And he said that he has found corals he has seen corals on these shows, and we were all amazed, back then that Bombay has corals, and Bombay did have corals, and corals are Schedule One species. The same level of wildlife protection equal to a tiger, because they are so dynamic, because they take so many years to form and to build, and they protect the shoreline so much, and they contribute to it. So all this data we had got last year, and we submitted all of this to the Bombay High Court to cancel the environment clearance. And the environment clearance was based on your one law, which is called the CRZ. It's called the Coastal Regulation Zone Notifications. So in our 8,000 kilometer of coastal land, we just have one policy that governs it. It's a very loophole policy. It's not enough. And based on this one policy, Bombay's entire west coast was allowed reclamation, basically making land from the sea, 95 hectares of land from the sea. And about the unfairness to the fishers and biodiversity and the wildlife is something else. The other factor of concern was flooding. Bombay being a coastal city, the rocky shore like mangroves are a natural flood protection barrier. So when you dig up those rocks and you put dump mud on it and you make a road on it, you are essentially rooming and taking away your natural flood protection barriers. So now what, we ask them, now what? So what is the protection to the city? Because right from south to Kandivali, this road is going to be reclaimed, and very few parts on stills, but major portion of it is reclamation. So we don't know what's going to be the flood situation, and we did see the flood situation this year when we kind of observed it with regard to Chowpatty was underwater. Like the beach became the seabed, and you could not see the beach anymore. So we are heading towards that, because it's basic science and this data exists. It's not like foreign or new data that's coming now. This is already existing data that they are not listening to, in favor for a road that again nobody really wants, because right from South Bombay, urbanites to North Bombay, everybody is saying that we don't really want a road because the metro is being made parallel to it, and improve that infrastructure maybe. There's been a lot of representation letters come from societies, from urban societies, that have said that please improve the train structure, please improve the local transport. We don't really want a road. A lot of youth groups, which I have been a part of, like Extinction Rebellion and Fridays for Future, we have written representation saying that we as young people do not want to invest in cars, and we do not want to increase our carbon footprints. We want better public transportation, but nobody is listening to these demands that the city wants. And we don't really know why, because it does not make sense, after you give them all these things. So I think on that aspect, yes. And yeah, so as of now, the road work is on. The corals that whose home those rocky shores were, who took millions of years, who were there even before we existed, the city existed, have been relocated to another spot, so that a road can be built on that habitat. And we don't really know how many colonies. I think about 18 to 19 colonies have been relocated, but the study was done within a year. I think it was done within 3 to 6 months, which is a very short time to study the spread or the actual stretch of how many coral colonies are found and of what species. So I think Gaurav will throw some light on that. But as far as I know, and all the research papers we read up on for the PIL, for our work in during the lockdown, it was at least 4 to 5 years. So we don't even know how many other colonies of corals have gone under the mud and which have not even been relocated. And it's been relocated to a zone that is not accessible to the public. It is a defense, I guess. It's Navy Nagar in Kolaba and some other areas. And as far as I know, they are not really accessible to people like us, researchers like us, to just go and see whether the relocation was successful or not. So And most likely it won't be successful because we tried sourcing papers to check the success rate of coral translocation that has happened in other countries and with species. And the species that were found here, your flower pot corals and your gorgonians and all, they did not have any concrete scientific data saying that there is a 100% or at least a 80 to 90% chance of success that they will survive after relocation. Nothing. And especially for these species, absolutely there was nothing. So we don't really know what's going to happen. And most likely these corals are not going to survive, and subsequently the fishers that depend on biodiversity, because corals are only 0.5% of the total ocean and the total earth's mass, but they support 35% of all marine life on it, which is why they are schedule 1, which is why they are so important. So you take those away, you take the from the food chain, you take the top one away, and everything crumbles down. So if the fishers are going to be hit first with regard to lower biodiversity catch, the fish catch that they usually get, they may stop getting the local catch. The shore intertidal does not exist, so all your clams and your crab catch is just gone. Lobsters, which were high end catch, that's finished too. And yeah, so the fishers are going to be hit really hard first, and with no compensation, with no strategy on mitigating livelihoods for them in favor of a road for citizens who don't even want the road. So yeah. You're muted. You're muted.
Yeah. So now, like, I wanted to know, like, what is the current status of the project now?
It's on. As I said, as of now, the coral relocation has been done. We really tried requesting right from your chief minister to, to all senior politicians, to even the bureaucrats, the departments and stuff, but it was just taken on deaf ears. And the corals have been relocated. Haji Ali has been almost reclaimed. South Bombay reclamation is on. So the work is going on. There's no halt to any of it. And that's the status as of now. Fishers, I think, as personally, from my personal conversations with them as of this month, I think they've just given up hope. And it's really a very sad state of affairs that an indigenous community like Kolis that gave Mumbai the face of what it is, that sustained it, through tough times, as a source of, as a industry, fishing as a local livelihood, have been disregarded in such a way where they are fields, like they call it, they are sheti, the fishing beds that they do, and they are not big scale fishers that are emptying the seas and causing extinction of species. They were small scale artisanal fishers who survived because the catch was so biodiverse, because the catch was lobsters, prawns, pomfrets, high end economical catch that sustained and helped them remain small scale and artisanal and use methods that were not disastrous or have bigger boats and stuff. And we disregarded this community, that was sustaining our coast, that was sustaining the future of even fisheries with regard to sustainability in the sector. And just because we did not know who they are, just because when they asked for help to the city, we did not listen enough, we were not there enough. And yeah, and I think the biggest failure I see in my work is that I could not sustain a community that has remained for so long, and then the biodiversity that they sustained on, that sustained each other, which in turn sustained my city and my home where I live in Bombay. So yeah.
Thank you for letting us know, like, the ground level report and the impact it has caused. And I think we have to hold on the hope, and we have to try our best to stop this project
Yeah.
from moving forward. And yeah, I'll get back to you in moments. I'll ask Gaurav a few questions about marine diversity. Uh, Gaurav, the
Hello,
first
hi.
question is like, what is
Hello,
the
hi.
impact of this project on marine life in particular?
So impact of this project on marine life is, as Sarita said, a 3-month study or for a 2-year study can't really throw light on this entire thing. Firstly, we all should understand this is a kind of new environment for all of us. Intertidal zone was not in limelight 4 years ago, if you look back. In late 2016, because of citizen-driven initiatives like Marine Life of Mumbai and NGOs like Sprouts, we got to know about intertidal thing in Mumbai, and then we all started documenting it. But to know about the impact because of the coastal roads, to actually knowing and then mitigating those impacts, it takes a larger time span. So first, so for example, I'll give you an example of a forest. So if you talk about a forest, there are lots of researchers who have been working on forest ecosystems, like every type of forest, evergreen, deciduous, marsh deciduous, etc. And when we say there is a tiger population in forest, tiger is a schedule 1 species, as Sarita said, like corals. So if there is tiger in the forest, we simply divert the road, right? We do not translocate the tigers from the forest and then build the road. Then why this thing is happening over here? Because people are not connected. If you look at RA, we have a healthy leopard population over there. People gathered because they knew what is there in RA. RA forest is called as lungs of Mumbai and all. But we do not really know, people do not really connect themselves with the seashore because it has been like a kind of unknown for us, all of us. We only know because of the chopati, the charts we get, or just to do some time pass, we go there and just sit around. But so yeah, that is why I think we lack our like where we like our efforts were short in like to actually understanding the ecosystem and the impact of it. Obviously, as Sanjay sir and Sarita said, the coastal communities are going to affect, and they are the direct link between us and the marine wildlife. They might not know the name of that species, but they have been seeing that species for like decades or maybe centuries because they are there since long ago. They are the original Mumbaikars if we look at them. And right now, their livelihood is going away, the marine life which is going away. So if you visit any like remaining Koliwadas in Mumbai, for example, Chimbai in Bandra, or if you come north, there'll be Gorai. If you show them photos, they'll tell you a local name for it of any, if it is a sea slug or a snail or crab, anything. They'll tell you local name about it. They'll tell you, huh, we are getting these animals in this particular season. But so that is what we should understand. They know it, like they have their knowledge because of their traditional practices, but there is a, a gap between us and them. We only interact with fishers when we go to collect fishes, like go to buy fishes. So the impact of coastal road on marine ecosystem is going to be very hazardous in my opinion, and it is not completely understood yet.
Yeah, so like how many species of marine we have lost because of this, and how many are on the verge of extinction?
So right now the reclamation, I don't call it reclamation, actually call it encroachment, because reclaiming is something what is originally yours. That space was not originally ours, we are encroaching on other space. So what we have lost, there is no such count actually, but if you like if you are active on Instagram or Facebook, like from last 2 years we have been seeing a photo of one sea slug called Goniobranchus bombayenus. Bombay sea slug. It's a white sea slug with pink spots. It was named after Mumbai, originally described in 1946 by a scientist. And for 80 years after that, we did not find it in Mumbai, maybe because of lack of research and lack of exploration we did. Like we never really went on the shore to looking for that animal. So it was described, the specimen which was described, it was collected from the South Bombay shore. So, so the location is that species, its type locality. We call it type locality because it was described from that location. And if you go there right now, the type locality is under the under the gravel of coastal road. So we are losing these areas which were important, which are still important, but right now we are too late for that to actually raise our voice or maybe do something about it. But yeah, right now we are trying to create multiple small citizen groups around Mumbai, which the shores are on which the shores are on the shores which are remaining, and we are encouraging them to document them the biodiversity as much as possible, because you never know when we are going to lose it. Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, there's no the awareness is not much between people among people, and like we really don't know what we are going to lose forever. So like marine life and human life is basically interconnected. So I guess when we will know the effect it causes on our life, people will come forward.
Yeah, definitely. So we don't really act on something when we, like, if we are not seeing direct effects of it, we don't really act upon it. For example, right now we are fighting a pandemic, corona, COVID-19. You see symptoms in a person when you get infected. So that's why we take him to the hospital or COVID center, whatever. In case of climate change, the symptoms are indirect, and they might not be immediate, but yeah, they you will see them somewhere. For example, west coast of India never used to receive, like, hardly there were any cyclones on west coast of India. But in last 2 years, we have received three cyclones. Last year we received two cyclones on Sindhudurg Ratnagiri district, and this year we received one cyclone in Raigad district. So we never know, like, something like that will hit us, when it will hit us. So people won't act unless they see something which is going away directly, and maybe we are the link, and we should tell people what is there on our shores. Then maybe the change will happen. Yeah.
Yeah, like we'll have to create awareness and take forward it as soon as possible before the entire damage is done. And uh, we have few questions from our audience too. And like, is Ankita Shrivdika present? Ankita?
नहीं, I think नहीं है वो.
No, no. Okay, she wanted to talk on Koli community. So there's one question from Gautam Doshi. It is, would it be fair to come to a conclusion that fishermen's identities are a threat and they are being slowly excluded from the society and their livelihoods are disappearing? Like any of our panelists would like to answer this?
Absolutely, yes. Not just in the coastal road, but when we were looking at other issues like mangrove violations and reclamation, it's the fisher community that, number one, people did not know whether it was the party violating it or the government that was in charge of protecting, say, a mangrove patch. They did not even know that it was a fishing habitat, that fishers used to fish there. So there has not been enough data only on how many fishermen are there in Bombay, and Bombay's iconic Koli community, which is worldwide famous as a tribal, fishing community. There is hardly any data on how many villages are there, what kind, like there is just, or like, top data as we call it, like just number of fishing villages, number of fishing societies, number of boats. But what is their culture, what is their status? Like, for example, the Warlis in RA, they have been studied so much in depth. Like there are so many social scientific studies done on them, on their culture, on their art, which is why we had access to all that data when we speak about, say, Are and the Warli tribes. But on fishers, on especially small scale indigenous fishers, no data. So they are slowly being excluded. Yes, but it is because that we've not done enough to even study them. And it's not their moral responsibility to get into the field of research or bureaucratic data sets and put themselves in that. It was our duty to follow up and see what this community is that's living in our own city, and we didn't do that.
Yeah, exactly. This is the. We'll have to work on it as soon as possible.
I would
Also,
like to
this
add. I
this
would like
next
to
question
add
is to
something on
Gaurav.
it. I would like to add
Yeah, yeah.
something. I would like
Please.
to add something what Deepika said. In many cases, the original Koliwadas were declared as slums. So that's how they are like trying to what push them away from our urban landscape. They are the original residents, but in case of in case of Worli Koliwada, it was declared as slum when it came to in regards with some SRA project or something. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've heard that somewhere. So that is a major problem where we are not counting traditional communities at traditional communities, but as a slum area. Yeah. Maybe Sanjay sir might say something about it.
The next question is to you, Gaurav.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, what will be the survival rate for recently reclaimed corals and how it will affect the ecology of that area?
So it is not a reef. Firstly, we should understand that. And the survival rate. So I have not studied corals, but one of my senior friends who was studying corals in Andaman for last 10, 12 years, he publicly commented that saying that the corals won't survive because they are not actually made for this translocation thing. They live in a very unique environment. They thrive in a very unique environment. And as I said, it is not a reef, but again, there were many other species which were supporting the life. And this is not something you will find year around, but Mumbai's coastline is mainly affected by the seasonal changes. The fish you get are mainly seasonal. The lobsters you get are seasonal. The big fishes like baramundi or stingrays you get, they are seasonal. So it is not directly dependent upon corals, but there are other animals as well which are not protected, but they all of these animals make an ecosystem, and we should stop trying to relate that corals ko bachaya means pure ecosystem ko bachaya. In case of Andamans or in some other large reef areas, if we say that, it is true, but in case of Mumbai, it is not that true. It is a completely different ecosystem, and we are using like not using, but we are referring to those methodologies which are used in reef ecosystems in a non-reef area. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, the next question to our panelist is like, one second. Yeah, it's by Nishita, and she's asking how much time do we have to stop this project before it causes irreversible changes to the ecosystem along the coast? Any of our panelists would like to answer this?
I personally don't think we have much time. What is gone. But I think before the next phase starts, which will be from Worli to Kandivali, it is apparently said that it is going to be on stilts. I'm not very sure, but recently our environment minister said it. If it is on stilt, then maybe we have some chances. But if it's going to be the same way till Kandivali, it is going to affect like really bad. And right now the first phase, I don't think, like, Sarita, you may say something about it. The
Yeah.
first phase is already gone from
It's
our.
already gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in fact, I just wanted to add on and ask Gaurav. So we've already spoken about this before, but it would be nice if Gaurav says this to you all on the forum right now. There's a lot of debate on reforestation. So say if a degraded forest, can be restored with replantation. It can't, but at least there's a hope that okay, fine, it was cut unlawfully, and now we are replanting and trying to restore it. But can a reclaimed coast ever be restored?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because I have a few geologist friends, and I took them on a shore one day and asked them simply, you date these rocks back to? They said these rocks are around 50 to 60 million year old. So can a 3 month study will compensate that 60 to 50 million old habitat? That is
And we
my
can never
question to
get it
all of
back.
them who are saying that we'll use eco concrete or we'll build a sea wall and stuff like that. That is my question to them. Can you compensate uh, a 50 million old habitat with a 3 month old study or something?
So yeah, I think there were so many facts and information which we were really not aware of, and we got to know through you three. So thank you for that. And now I want to ask audience if they have any questions, any more questions.
लाइक सरिता, मैंने आपने एक इंटरव्यू किया था एफएफएफ इंडिया के साथ, तो उस समय आपने एक पीपीटी प्रेजेंटेशन भी दिया था। तो इफ इन केस आपके मोबाइल में अभी वो प्रेजेंटेशन है तो वी कैन गो थ्रू इट।
No. Which presentation? Could you remind me?
एक एफएफएफ इंडिया के साथ किया था आपने सेशन, वो यूट्यूब पे भी है।
Yeah, नहीं अभी मोबाइल पे नहीं रहेगा, but I think Gaurav has some pictures that he could share with you all. We have a drive, I guess. Gaurav,
Yeah.
is the
Before that,
drive
there is
accessible
one
right now?
suggestion in the chat box saying, please ask Mr. Sanjay in Marathi language. He can't be explained in English. Huh? So,
Yeah.
so the question before that was about slums, right? The fishing villages.
Yep.
Right.
Okay, so can you repeat the question? If I want, I can translate.
हाँ, but गौरव तू पण बोलू शकतोस.
हाँ नाही, तो एकदा क्वेश्चन रिपीट कर ना, so मला easy जाईल.
Which one we're talking about?
The Koli villages. The
1 second.
Koli villages.
Yeah, this one. Over the decade, the expansion of Mumbai has come at the cost of Kolis and other natives. तो उसके ऊपर था.
Okay. So संजय सर, तुम्ही आहात का ऑनलाइन?
होते आहे तिथे.
ओके, सो
हाँ भाई, जरा वो बात करें.
हा, सो गेल्या 10 वर्षात जे एकंदरीत आपलं शहरीकरण होत आहे मुंबईचं, त्याचा कोळीवाड्यांवर काय परिणाम झालाय असा प्रश्न आहे, किंवा तुमच्या आयुष्यात किंवा ह्याच्यात काय बदल झाले आणि पुढे काय प्रॉब्लेम येऊ शकतात?
पुढे साहेब असं जो प्रॉब्लेम येणार आहे ना, तुम्हाला खरं सांगायचं आहे ना, की जो पूर्वी ज्या गोष्टी चालल्या होत्या त्याच्यामध्ये आम्हाला कोणत्या प्रकारे सरकारकडे तक्रार नव्हती, कारण आम्ही जो आमचा राहता ठिकाण हा गाव आहे साहेब, हा गाव आहे आणि इथे आमच्या सर्व गोष्टी उपलब्ध, सर्व गोष्टी आमच्या मच्छीमार व्यवसाय होत्या. पण आता जसं हा भराव जेव्हा टाकण्यात आलेला आहे आणि जो भराव टाकलेला आहे, आज आम्हाला पूर्णपणे मच्छीमार लोकांना उद्ध्वस्त करता आलेला नाही. याच्या पुढे जो परिणाम होणार आहे तो याच्या पुढे असा परिणाम होणार आहे की याच्यानंतर खायचे वांदे आमचे होणार आहेत, कुठे म्हणजे फिरायला जायचे वांदे होणार आहेत आणि प्रत्येक गोष्टी म्हणजे आम्हाला पैशासाठी मोताज व्हायला लागणार आहे. आणि याच्यानंतर काय करणार आहे, सरकारने ज्या गोष्टी केलेल्या आहेत त्या अशा केलेल्या आहेत की याच्या पुढे आमचा जो पूर्ण पुढची जी पिढी आहे ती चोऱ्या लबाड्या असेच करून पोटं भरणार आहेत. कारण सर्व बंदच करून टाकलेलं आहे. जे आज आम्हाला इन्कम मिळायची, जे आज आम्हाला 4 पैसे मिळायचे, त्या कोस्टल मुळे आमचं पूर्णपणे एकदम सर्व गोष्टी बंद झालेल्या आहेत.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sarita, I'll be presenting those photos.
Yeah,
हाँ.
yeah.
हा साहेब, तुम्हाला माझा आवाज आलेला आहे का?
हो आला.
अजून काय प्रश्न वगैरे आहेत का?
अंजलि, इनके लिए कुछ और क्वेश्चंस है क्या? संजय सर के लिए आपका माइक ऑफ है, माइक ऑफ है.
ओके, या सॉरी सर, ये क्वेश्चन है कि एज अ कम्युनिटी, हम लोग कैसे पार्ट ले सकते हैं इस मूवमेंट में? जैसे ग्राउंड लेवल पे हम क्या काम कर सकते हैं, सोशल मीडिया में हम क्या काम कर सकते हैं ताकि इस प्रोजेक्ट को आगे बढ़ने से रोक सकें?
आई थिंक उनके लिए थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट हो जाएगा. ओके.
मतलब वो जैसे अगर एज अ कोली कम्युनिटी वो अगर कुछ हमसे चाहते हैं सर.
हेलो.
हाँ जी सर, जैसे आपकी कोली कम्युनिटी आज डेंजर पे है, मतलब तो अगर आप इंडिया के यूथ से क्या चाहते हैं कि हम कैसे आपकी मदद कर सकते हैं?
हम लोग आपसे हाथ जोड़ के विनती करते हैं कि हमारे जो अभी हम लोग जो सो तो हम लोग फिशरमैन ही है, जो खलासी और पकड़ के, और जो दूसरे जो औरत लोग जो आती है वो भी मच्छी व्यवसाय करते हैं, जो हाथ से पकड़ते हैं. हम लोग जाली से पकड़ते हैं, वो लोग हाथ से पकड़ते हैं, और कुल मिला के 1000-1500 की तादाद में लोग हैं. और हम लोग यही सरकार से चाहते हैं कि हम लोग का जो महीने का जो खर्चा है, जो हम लोग मच्छी मारते थे पहले, कोस्टल होने से पहले हम लोग 40,000, 50,000, 60,000 ऐसा कम पाते थे हम लोग, यानी इंजन वाला बोट. और जो फल्टी वाला रहता है वो लोग 30-35 हजार रुपए पाते थे. और जो हाथ से जो मच्छी पकड़ते वो कम से कम 12-15 हजार रुपए कमाते थे. लेकिन आज कोस्टल रोड से भरनी से हम लोग को अभी कुछ भी फायदा नहीं है. अभी हम लोग बोट भी लेके जाते हैं ना, तो ये लोग का आवाज के वजह से मच्छी तो कुछ नहीं मिलता है, ऊपर से डीजल का पैसा हमारे जेब से जाता है. हम लोग बहुत इतना कर्जा कर चुके हैं कि हमारे लिए अभी वो सब कुछ बोलते हैं ना कि सरकार हमारे पास देखे, हमारे पास आए, हमारी खुशहाली पूछे कि हम लोग कैसे जी रहे. इतना हम लोग के पास कर्जा हो चुका है कि हम आपको बयान नहीं कर सकते. और दूसरी बात, सरकार से हम लोग ये चाहते हैं कि हमारा जो अभी जो कर्जा है जितना किया गया है, हमारी जो 2-2.5 साल से नुकसान हो चुकी है, वो भी भर के चाहिए. और हमारे को वोट रखने के लिए जगह महीने का, हमारे लिए महीने का, क्योंकि अभी हम लोग धंधे के बारे में तो ये लोगों ने पूरा एकदम हम लोग को जीरो कर दिया, ताकि हम लोग कभी कौन से भी तरह से हम लोग धंधा भी करते थे, हम लोग को मच्छी नहीं मिलेगी. क्योंकि जो मच्छी की जगह थी जहाँ लॉबस्टर मिलता था, बड़ा सा मच्छी मिलता है, अभी जो नाम बताऊंगा, गोल का मच्छी रहता है, खाजरे का मच्छी रहता है, मासे का मच्छी रहता है, रावस का मच्छी रहता है, जितने मच्छी का बड़ा मच्छी, पापलेट रहता है, ये सब पाकट रहता है, वो सब मच्छी की जगह ने वो लोगों ने क्या किया, भरण कर दिया है. तो अभी हम लोग करे तो करे क्या, इसके अलावा हम लोग को कुछ नहीं आता. इसलिए हम लोग को सरकार से हाथ जोड़ के दरख्वास्त है, हम लोग को हर महीने का जो हमारा जो महीने का पाते थे उतना हमें हर महीने जब तक ये ब्रिज रहेगा या ये लोग का जो कोस्टल रोड का काम चालू रखने, जब तो गाड़ी बीड़ी चालू रहेगी, हमारे को कायम स्वरूप हमारे बच्चे लोग के लिए वो लोग कुछ ऐसा करना चाहिए दूसरी बात, हमारा बोट रखने के लिए हम लोग को जगह भी देना चाहिए, और जो हमारा जो नुकसान किया है, जो एंकर का, जैसे मैं पहले बोल चुका हूँ, वो एंकर वो लोग ने दफन किया, उसका भी हम लोग को भरपाई चाहिए। और हर चीज जो आज हम लोग कमा के पाते थे, और हम लोग हमारे बच्चे 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 लोग, हम लोग बच्चे लोग को पढ़ाते थे, अभी वो हम लोग कुछ नहीं कर पा रहे, क्योंकि 2 अढ़ाई साल से हम लोग के बच्चे लोग भी पढ़ाई नहीं कर रहे ये कोस्टलों की वजह से। तो जितना हम लोग का नुकसान किया है, वो पूरा टोटल सरकार ने हमें देना चाहिए, ये हमारी सरकार से
जी
मांग है।
सर, आप एकदम सही बोल रहे हैं। हाँ, तो बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, आप बातचीत करके अच्छा लगा और पता भी चला कि आप लोगों के ऊपर, कोली कम्युनिटी पर कितना नुकसान हुआ है। पहले पता नहीं था हम लोगों को इसके बारे में इतना ज्यादा, आपसे बात करने के बाद में पता चला है। तो आपने जो जो अभी कहा है, जो जो पॉइंट्स बताए हैं, हम आगे लेके जाएंगे, सरकार तक पहुंचाने की पूरी कोशिश करेंगे और जितना जल्दी हो सके कुछ ना कुछ सहायता जरूर प्रोवाइड करेंगे सर। थैंक यू सर,
जरूर
थैंक यू।
जरूर जरूर।
Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Gaurav, you
Gaurav.
can move ahead with this. Yeah.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so these are the photos which Sarita sent.
Can you zoom in? Thoda? Yeah, so this was last year at Worli, right before the nation happened on this shore. And this was documented, I think the dates were given. I think this is documented in October or November of 2019. Um, let's see it. Yeah. So, this was when the coastal road work was stalled, but we were dealing with the issue of the existing gravel that was coming towards the shore, which would possibly be in the next picture, I guess. Yeah. So you can see the tetrapods on top, and this is the rocky shore, the tide pool, and the that small little rocks on it was basically the rocks that came from the reclaimed area to this thing via tides. So the tides brought in the reclaimed part. So after the work was stalled, they did not, make any provisions to, pack up the existing reclaimed area that they had done before the judgment came out. So all of it was getting encroached and it was naturally getting reclaimed, even though they were not reclaiming it. So we had gone and documented how it was killing the shore, and we found those sea snail eggs, which Gaurav just showed you previously, the beautiful pink and yellow hues that are found on the rocky shores. This was right in one of those tide pools that we found. And those are barnacles that are next to it. This thing. So this was also where the same place where we found corals. We found those non-reef building corals, and we found a sea span. This is a barnacle, I guess. Yeah, it is a barnacle. Gaurav, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not really good. Again, these are sea snail. Like the whole shore was full of it because it was the season of the sea snail egg thingy, and so the onset of winter, the whole shore looked pink and yellow, and it was just beautiful. And all of this currently does not exist because it is under 7 to 12 feet of gravel and mud for the road right now. I think we can just scroll through the pictures next. This is the same thing. Yeah, so these are those oyster beds that Sanjay ji was talking about, and you can see the background, the coastal road machineries over there, and that's the rocky shore. And basically, because these beds were much more difficult to reclaim, they brought a JCB that actually broke down all these oyster beds one by one, and this is one of the broken beds actually, because the oyster bed is a bigger bed with a very big stretch of oysters. So this is one of the broken beds, and it was just lying there. And this was, the oysters that Sanjay ji mentioned, the fisherwomen physically by hand collect. They don't use boats, they don't use anything, and that is what runs their livelihood. Yeah, so this was how the reclamation was looking like. This was all the gravel that came from South Bombay, from Haji Ali and Mahalakshmi towards Worli by the wave action. And the show was getting reclaimed slowly. Not reclaimed per se, but there was all these rocks, the foreign material, the wave was just throwing back, and it was coming with the waves as one of the fishers of Worli took me here, and they were saying that because of that little bit reclamation also that they managed to do before the judgment came out, the waves started coming in much more rougher. So they could not even walk on this area when it was high tide, or when it was when the tide was coming up, low tide chalu ho raha tha. They just could not walk there. It had to be completely low tide for them to be able to walk and collect oysters and crabs and everything. So, yeah, so this is Worli, that's the promenade, as you can see. And right now, all of this is about 12 feet high with reclaimed things on it. Yeah, some more pictures.
This is again Worli
These are
when we went.
Gaurav's
Yeah.
pictures.
And if you see this fish, it is a very costly fish which we get around the shores of Mumbai. And yeah, we used to get them right next to the rocky shore of Worli, which is right now, which currently it is undergone this thing, reclamation thing. But yeah, it was a pretty decent fishing ground. It used to be a pretty decent fishing ground. Right now, there is nothing left. We used to get stingrays. This is a butterfly ray. Then groupers. So all these fishes actually, most of them are indicators of like healthy ecosystem, because all these fishes are predatory. They feed on other animals, and their presence was actually an indication of presence of their prey species. So we can imagine if there is a tiger, then there must be some deers or sambars or something like that. So the groupers, the stingrays, the barramundi, which I showed you, all of them are predatory fish, and they are there because their prey is there. So this is how Worli fishermen used to fish. Right now they can't, but yeah, so they, on a low tide, they used to stand on the edge of the water and they used to throw their nets in the water, and those fishes were caught like this. So you can imagine how close they were from our shore. So these are the fishermen. They are traditionally called as pagi, or the, so basically they use cast net. And then there were clam fishers. And it is not just a plain rock, it is an entire ecosystem, as I said. So all these small crevices which you see on the rocky shore are inhabited by maybe a larger animal like a crab, or a smaller animal like a sea slug. So it is not completely understood how dynamic the ecosystem was, and right now we won't be able to understand it because the shore is already gone. And all of these, most of the animals were like consumable. This is a sea slug. So sea slugs are like snails but with no shell, and for fast they are basically seasonal visitors on the shores of Mumbai. And this is an upside down image of a sea slug. So what they do is they simply stick themselves to the water surface from below, and they come along with the tide. So that's how they used to be. They used to visit our shores in winters, and after summer, and after laying eggs in early summer, they used to go back in the ocean. So this used to happens it still happens every year in some parts of our shore, but most of the shores are right now gone. So this is basically Choti Girgaon Chopati, which is right next to Mafatlal swimming pool. The entire beach is already gone under the reclamation. So there is Girgaon Chowpatty, and right next to it there was this beach. And this was this is the Chowpatty which got flooded this year for the first time. Yeah, again some Pagi fishers from Worli shore. These were the corals, or like the translocated ones, along with few other species. But yeah, so these are encrusting corals, not so you find them on a rock surface. Like you'll find a coral colony sticking to a rock surface. You won't find them branching out of it or something like that. So yeah, these are recently translocated to Navy Nagar and TIFR, which is in South Mumbai. This was a slug which I was talking about, the Goniobranchus bombayenus, which was originally described from Bombay in 1946, and currently its type locality from where it was described is gone under the coastal road reclamation. These are again corals. So this is a sea slug, if you can see, and that's an egg case of that sea slug. So a day before lockdown started, we went to this Mahalakshmi shore and we saw all these sea slugs coming there and laying eggs. And later, when I got to know recently that almost entire Mahalakshmi shore is gone under the rubble of the coastal road. This is another picture which I took a day before the pandemic started. It is a honeycomb moraine. It is a reef associated fish species, and it is also an apex predator. The rock behind it, under it, there was its den basically. So they have crevices, like they have fixed crevices in which they go during high tide or low tide, and they stay over there. So how do we came to know about it is we found many partially eaten fish inside that crevice. So we got to know that the fish is den. But later on, I told one of my friends to go, who stays in South Bombay. I told him to go and check that crevice. And when he visited, there was no crevice or anything left from the natural habitat. These are again corals. And yeah, these are the fisherwomen about which Sanjay sir was telling. They use a knife or something like that to break open the oysters, and they collect it in a jar, and then they take it to the market. And behind that fisherwoman, you can see the coastal road reclamation is going on. Yeah, it is a red egg crab, again from Worli, and it is probably a week or two before the entire thing happened, the reclamation happened. Yeah. So that's it.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. And I guess like पिक्चर्स देख के इतना अच्छा लग रहा था, like they are so beautiful. Never have like कभी देखा ही नहीं है live pictures देख के इतना अच्छा लग रहा था. Thank you for sharing. And also when you shared the pictures, Gaurav, so the question I from Gautam Doshi, it was where have the corals been translocated to, and are the BMC planning to translocate corals in Bandra and other places as well?
So the Bandra, as in which we are not very sure about the phase 2 of coastal road project, which will be taking place from Bandra till Kandivali. So our environment minister said that they are going to build it on still. So I hope that happens because we won't be creating an obstacle for water to get in and get out. That's the first point. And the corals from Haji Ali and Mahalakshmi shore are translocated to TIFR, which is right behind Geetanagar in Kolaba, and some of them are translocated to Navy Nagar, which is also in Kolaba. So exact pinpoint location we have no idea, but you need access to go on TIFR shore because it is heavily guarded after 2611 2 years ago. So TIFR is heavily guarded, and I think Navy Nagar is also heavily guarded. They have electric fencing and all. So it is very difficult to go over there. But if you know someone, maybe you can. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So basically, from this meeting, we have got few information, few insights, like what is a ground level report, what has been happened. संजय सर से बात करके भी उनकी कम्युनिटी के बारे में पता चला है. So from this we take on that यहाँ से हम थ्रू फ्राइडेज फॉर फ्यूचर से लोगों तक अवेयरनेस पहुंचाएंगे, पेटिशन साइन करवाएंगे एंड जितना हो सके आगे का प्रोजेक्ट रोकने की कोशिश करेंगे. So it was a very insightful meeting, very informative meeting. I thank all our panelists once again, Gaurav, Sarita, and Sanjay sir. Thank you so much for coming and giving us all the information. And also I thank our audience for being here, patiently listening to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Anjali.
Thank you.
Anjali. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just like, before we close, I'd just like to add on that I think the lessons from the coastal road that we can learn is, संजय मैं ये हिंदी में बोल दूंगी कि कोस्टल रोड की जो हमें सीख मिली है अभी कि ये लेवल पे डिस्ट्रक्शन हो सकता है हमारे कोस्ट को, आई थिंक हमें ये अभी वापस से वी शुड नेवर अलाउ दिस टू हैपन. हमें ये वापस से कभी होने नहीं देना है फिर से कि जो हमारे वाइल्ड कोस्ट है, जो हमारे मतलब जंगल है, समुद्री है, जो जंगल है हमारे लिए, समुद्र हमारे लिए वो ये है, इट्स मोर देन अ फॉरेस्ट. सो आई थिंक नेक्स्ट स्टेप शुड बी कि वी शुड प्रोटेक्ट दी रिमेनिंग जो भी बाकी अभी कोस्ट है, अब के ये रॉकी शोज है, उनको बचाने की आई थिंक अभी हमें एफर्ट्स डालनी चाहिए. वी शुड पुट इन एफर्ट्स ऑन saving the last remaining wild coast of India and of Bombay, starting with Bombay. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and also I would like to tell you about, because Sarita said about the wild spaces remaining. So there is another project which might go on. It will be near Dahanu. So 20 years. So Dahanu is at the last place, like near Gujarat border, northern Maharashtra. So 20 years ago, there was a port which was proposed, and Supreme Court actually rejected that proposal because it was going to affect 47 villages. So 47 villages were going to be translocated. It was going to affect around more than 2 lakh fishermen. And plus there is Tarapur Atomic Power Station, right 12 kilometers south from that proposed port. So the power station will flood. That's why the entire project was scrapped. But in our last government, they gave a green signal to that project, and the project will be, so the villagers are obviously opposing. You can Google it. The village's name is Baror Wadwan, or you can contact me if you want to know the location of it. There are like professors from Palghar district who are working to save that entire stretch, and again they are going to encroach about 5,000 hectare of the rocky shore, which was going to affect 47 villages that 20 years ago, and maybe today it will affect more villages because we know that sea levels are rising, the climate is changing. So we all should keep an eye on, like, not only in case of Mumbai, but the surrounding places as well, where the similar things are happening. Yeah. Thank you.
So yeah, जो भी हमने गौरव से, सरिता से और संजय सर से सीखा है आज, जो इन्फॉर्मेशन जानी है, वो हम जरूर लोगों तक पहुंचाएंगे, फॉरवर्ड करेंगे, लोगों को पता कराएंगे कि क्या कुछ हो रहा है, कितना कितना मतलब इतना डेंजरस लेवल पे जा सकता है ये अगर आगे कंटिन्यू होता रहा तो, एंड वी विल मेक श्योर कि को तक पहुंचे एंड नेसेसरी स्टेप्स और एक्शंस ले जाए. So thank you everyone for joining this meeting. Have a great day ahead.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.